Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Talladega Super Speedway here in Alabama. My name's Ted Manning, along with my co-host Matt Close, and we're here today to give you the season finale of the second season of Cora, the Championship Online Racing Association's Sunday Money Series. It's going to be a good one, I think, Matt.
Definitely looking for a great race out here tonight in the final race. We've got more than one person battling for this thing, and they're all real close. Anything could happen, especially here at Talladega, where anything is known to happen.
Definitely. You could be leading the race on the last lap, and right when you come to that checkered flag, you could be upside down all the way back in 10th place. So anything can certainly happen here at Talladega Super Speedway, and we're definitely expecting the unexpected. So let's take a look today at our point standings after Michigan from last week. In first place, we have currently Dale Smalley. So Dale Smalley has the points lead here in the Sunday Money Series with 724 points. In second place is David Wank, 17 points behind. Dallas Miracles in third place, 59 points behind. Bruce Arbachard, last time you talked to us, he was sitting in first place, but last week he failed to qualify and did not race in the race. Therefore, he got a DNF, or did not race rather, and so he sits in fourth place in points, 59 points behind the leader. And rounding out your top 5 in points is James Brown, 95 points behind.
Yeah, back in 6th for points, you guys have Vincent Vinny, 106 points back. In 7th in points, Gordon Berkey, which will be just outside the bubble to win the championship tonight. He's 111 points back. And then so on back, you got Michael D'Amico, 223 back. Donald King and Colton Berkey is going to round out your top 10. Between the 10th position in points and first place, that's 266 points over 2 races. So up until about 5th place, Ted, we got drivers all fighting for the championship tonight.
Yeah, you're definitely going to want to look at those top 5. Dale Smalley, David Wank, Dallas Miracle, Bruce Bouchard, and James Brown. They all have very good chances of coming out on top today in the race and end up getting that championship trophy. Not only that, those are some big names. So not only could we see them holding the championship trophy above their head, but maybe even the race trophy. However, it was last week at Michigan that really did shake everything up here. The results at Michigan, you had Stephen Moore, a name that we haven't really talked about too much. He came in first place. In second place was Nicolas Doucette, who is racing in his father's car. Paul Doucette is his father, and he's only 11 years old, so that's crazy. He came in second place. Case Brinksma came in third, Donald King in fourth, and Ron McMahon rounding out your top 5 last week in Michigan.
Yeah, 6th, Vincent Vinny with a strong run. 7th, you got James Wilkins. 8th, making a return after taking a couple weeks off and making a big move, number 88, Churchma, coming back strong. Dallas Markle finishing 10th, and then rounding out your top 10, Martin Porter. Another name, guys, a lot of names up there that we usually don't see in the top 10 making their way up and kind of making a statement for next season.
Yeah, and it's always good when you get to see things like that, because then you do get to kind of shape what next season will look like and who are going to be the big names and who could shake things up and maybe even knock guys like Dale Smalley, David Wank out of the top 5 of points next season. Honorable mentions, David Wank came in 12th, Dale Smalley came in 18th after a wreck, so tough luck for Dale Smalley last week at Michigan. The qualifying races, as you know, with the Championship Online Racing Association, is that with the qualifying races that we have, you have to qualify in order to get into the final race here on Sunday night. The qualifying races are on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and as long as you pay, you can go ahead and race. I do have the results for those races. On Monday night, Michael Churchma ended up taking the win. So he's going to be in tonight. David Wank took the win on Wednesday, and Colton Berkey took the win on Friday night. So those will be the 3 guys that I would say look out for. They're very strong at Talladega, at super speedways in general. Michael Churchma always seems to be up there, so it's pretty good to be seeing somebody like Michael Churchma back.
Yeah, Ted, I'm just looking at the points right now. You got Dale Smalley in the lead with 9 starts qualifying. That means he made the main event at the end of the week 9 times. David Wank, only 26 points back, and he has 1 less race. And then the real story to me, Ted, Dallas Markle's up there. He has 2 less races than both those guys, and he's still within 1 race points and it's going to go and try and win the championship tonight. I mean, having 2 poles and 1 win on the season, definitely one of the most consistent drivers other than making the main event.
Definitely one of the most consistent and definitely one of the most strong out of everybody. He currently, right now, looking at what they did at practice, he was the second fastest time at 47.958. So he has a very strong car. He races very well at Super Speedway, so look for him up at the front. However, it is something to mention that here at Talladega Super Speedway, anything can happen. And so I wouldn't count out any of the no names or small names out of it. Some honorable mentions. We have a female for the first time racing here in Cora, Tina Holt. So she'll be out there racing tonight in the 51 machine. And then you have Nicholas Doucette on his father's car, Paul Doucette, and he's only 11 years old, and he's actually a very good racer. So it's actually really exciting to see something like that happen. But before we go go down trackside and do the announcements and everything, let's tell you a little bit about Talladega Super Speedway. It's located here in Lincoln, Alabama, and it seats about 175,000 people. It's owned by the International Speedway Corporation. It broke ground in 1968 and then opened up a year later in 1969. And Bill Ward and William France Sr. were the ones who ended up constructing this magnificent track. It's 2.66 miles long. It is one of the largest tracks here on the racing circuit. And every single turn, turns 1 and 2, turns 3 and 4, turns 1 and 2 is 33-degree of banking, and turns 3 and 4 is 32.4-degree of banking. But even the tri-oval and backstretch are banked degrees. So, I mean, it's a very large track, and it's very interesting where the flag stand is, Matt.
Yeah, definitely coming all the way down around that, well, we'll call it a dog leg, coming to the other side of that, and at the end of pit road is where you'll finally meet that flag stand, and that definitely shakes some things up, especially under cautions where you get trapped a lap down and possibly actually gain a lap on somebody because the way you come out of the pits and come across that line. So it definitely shakes up where that start-finish line is. And looking back, I mean, at the first Talladega race, Dallas Markle, knowing anything can happen, as he was third coming all the way until the end of that pit lane almost, and the 2 guys in front of him had that whole straightaway to take each other out, and they did, so they wouldn't spin across the line.
Yep, and right before we go down the trackside, I'd like to make one more announcement, and that announcement is stay tuned watching this race tonight, guys, because at the halfway mark, or around the halfway mark, maybe even a little sooner, we will be announcing the winner of the year subscription to iRacing that Cora ends up giving. And what that is every time you entered a Cora race, every time you would enter a race here on Cora, you will be given, your name gets in a pot. So how many times you are racing here at Cora, your name will be put into a pot, and then after it's put into a pot, they shake it around, and at the end of the season, they'll take out a name, and whoever wins a year subscription to iRacing. With that said, we'll go down to the track, and we'll get a opening announcement along with your national anthem and prayer, brought to you by the Championship Online Racing Association Sunday Money Series.
Welcome viewers to Championship Online Racing Association's Sunday Money Series. Drivers must qualify in one of 3 qualifiers that run Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, finishing in the top 10 to make it into the Sunday Money Race. Each Sunday Money Race will feature 9 payout positions, meaning close to 1/3 of the drivers racing on Sunday will be going to the bank on Monday. The winner of each Sunday Money Race will receive $30. Second place pays $20, $15 for third, $10 for fourth, and $5 to fifth place. In addition to the top 5 finishing positions, Cora will also pay a $5 award to the fastest qualifier, giving them the Fast Cash Award. Prior to the start of qualifying for each Sunday money race, a number is drawn at random. The driver qualifying in that position will be awarded a $5 easy money award. The same number will be used to pay a $5 bonus for the driver finishing in that same position in tonight's race. As is the way with Cora to encourage safe, clean racing, Cora will also be paying a $5 bonus for the highest finisher with the fewest incidents outside the top 5. In addition to our drivers racing for the Sunday money, they are also vying for the coveted Cora Championship. Points will be tallied over the season with the top 5 receiving cash awards, winner being crowned the Cora Sunday Money Champion. Every time a driver qualifies for a Sunday Money event, their name will go into a pool for a drawing to win a year's membership of iRacing Compliments of Cora, Championship Online Racing Association, the premier series in online racing. Sunday Money Series official sponsors are Dale Smalley, Drywall, The Finish is What Counts, Bart, Competition Karting, and Berkey Painting and Sandblasting. Green's Automotive, celebrating 60 years of business. A first look at the all-new 2013 Chevy Malibu. A revolutionary new touch console puts all the information where you need it. Introducing the entirely new Ford Fusion, an entirely new idea of what a car can be. And now we would like to pass off to Reverend Mark Anderson for our pre-race invocation.
Heavenly Father, we thank you that in your divine providence, you made it possible for us to be here tonight. And we ask you, Lord, to watch over our servicemen and women here and abroad. And God, that you would protect them as they protect the freedom that we enjoy. And now, Father God, we lift up to you these asphalt warriors, these high-octane gladiators who are going to risk themselves for the thrill of the race. We pray that you would increase their talents and abilities, that you would heighten their senses and awareness. God, that you would protect them and give them a race that we will never forget. God, that we can have a 3-wide, door-banging drag race to the checkered flag tonight. Yes. Father, we believe that nothing but good things are going to come to pass as soon as these men hit the gas. So, Father, we pray by faith, with joy and thanksgiving in our heart, and in the precious name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and together, all of God's creation says, amen and amen.
And now we'd like to pass it off to our very own Jaden Berkey for today's national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And now finally, down to Gordon Berkey for the 4 most famous words in motorsports.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
And we are back here at Talladega Super Speedway, ready to get this thing underway. We have our starting lineup, and it is a good one. All of the big names that you would expect to be up at the front are up in the front. Some big names are down there in the back, and you gotta wonder, Matt, if that is a strategy that they're starting to incorporate here at the super speedway races because of the big one that's always bound to happen.
Yeah, well, let's take them right down to the grid as we don't have much time before they roll off. Ted, starting on the pole, not qualifying last week, but making a statement coming into this one, Bruce R. Bouchard, and a strong comeback on the outside of him for the number 88 of Michael Churchma.
In that second row, you have the number 48 of Dallas Miracle and the number 07 of Gary Bauer.
A guy to watch all night in the championship battle, David Wink starting 5th, and on the outside of him, Mark Montanari.
Behind them, that number 5, Alan Larson, and right beside him, the 11-year-old number 51, Nicholas Doucette.
Starting 9th, you got Mark Jackson, and on the outside of him, your points leader, Dale Somali.
Starting 11th in the number 22, Eric Sharp, and right next to him, that number 17, Gordon Berkey.
13th place, you got Donald Sadusky, and on the outside of him, Brian Conveni.
Starting 15th, number 81, Colton Berkey, and right beside him in the number 01, Jonathan Smith.
Starting 17th, number 96 of Alan Starring, on the outside of him, the number 29 of Joel Wood.
Starting 19th, the number 72 of Ron McMahon, and the number 62 of Michael D'Amico.
All the way back in row 11, you have 99 of Skip Lynn and 18 of Jay Anderson.
Row 12, the number 23 of Donald King, and the number 30 of Everett D. Lane.
Starting 25th, the 04 of Gallon Gidman, and on the outside of him, for the debut of female in the Cora series, you got Tina Holt in the 55.
In the number 25, starting 27th, is Tommy Karkin, and right beside him in the number 35, Nathan Sedlick.
Starting 29th, you got Dale Cronkright, and on the outside of him, the number 33 of Travis Brown.
Starting 31st, the number 00, James Brown, and right beside him, the number 93, Salvatore Accardi.
Starting in the 33rd position, the 02 of James Wilkins will be the last person to take a qualifying time. Rounding out the rest of your field, 34th, number 3 is Steve Staton, and at the tail end, Sean Dower.
So we're all set to go racing here at Talladega Super Speedway. Lights off on the pace car as they head down the backstretch. And I tell you what, Matt, I think it's going to be an absolutely exciting and thrilling race that everybody's going to get to see tonight.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an exciting race tonight. And we just got to remember, there's only 9 positions between the first and second place in points. And that's really going to make some stress levels for these guys, where you can change that many positions on a single lap.
Oh, definitely. I mean, main thing that everybody needs to understand is that anything can happen here. We cannot say it enough because it cannot be any more true. I mean, it's hard to explain until people actually get to see it, Matt. You can be leading at 1 second and be in last place the next second. Anybody can win here, and that's what makes Talladega so exciting. But here they go out of turn number 4. That pace car will take a hard left turn down pit road, and we will be here racing at Talladega Super Speedway. 101 laps here at the 2.66 mile track, and I think it's going to be a very exciting one as they head around the tri-oval towards the start-finish line.
Just patiently waiting to get down to those lines where they can finally drop the green flag, and they send off dead even. Bruce Bouchard and Churchma take a great restart here as they get a little spread out towards the back of the field.
They head off into one. Michael Churchma getting pushed by the 07 of Gary Bauer down into turn 2 and onto the backstretch. He definitely has the noselead on Bruce R. Bouchard and will drop down in front of that 11 machine, leaving Gary Bauer in that 07 on the high side alone.
Mark will trying to get Bouchard back up to his teammate. You can see Bouchard and Churchma sporting identically painted cars. So they are definitely working together all night long to help Bouchard possibly win this championship.
And if one were to fall out, another one will take their place in that number 40 car of David Wank, who currently sits in the 6th position. He is patiently waiting to move his way up with the number 5 car of Alan Larson in the LSR TV car. So that's something that we always get excited about when we see something like that, as he will push his way around turn 2 and onto the backstretch.
Yeah, as we see Alan Larson trying to hook up with a couple people here and figure out who he can use. Looking towards the back, it's pretty much single file. Nobody making too big of a move yet, just trying to patiently get their way around this track for a few laps.
And all is quiet on the track right now here at Talladega Super Speedway. Everybody's looking good as Michael Churchma and Bruce Arbachard have taken a considerable lead out there in front. Dropping back though now, number 51, who's sitting in the 8th position. That's Nicholas Doucet. They're around on the tri-oval. There is a truck around coming right back up. It's the 19 car. The 19 car of Donald Sadusky is around, causing a chain reaction of more trucks there, Matt.
Yeah, there's a whole pack of trucks back here pretty much. It looks like he just comes down onto Colton Berkey while they're going through the tri-oval. People scrambling, everybody just can't get out of the way in time as he slides back up on the track. And as always, they allow these guys to have the backup trucks, so don't count these guys out yet, as they'll have to go and unload those when they come down pit road.
Yep, he comes down on Colton Berkey in that number 81 machine and goes for a ride, coming right back up into the 18 truck of Jay Anderson, which then causes a chain reaction between a bunch of different trucks, some getting through, some not. Like you mentioned, they have those backup trucks, so keep out on a lookout for Colton Berkey and Donald Sadusky to come back with a vengeance to see what happens. I don't think Donald Sadusky's too happy with what just happened there, but it's early on in this race. They just need to cool their engines. We still have 100 laps to go, or 97 laps to go, rather, here at Talladega Super Speedway. So I think this is definitely an eye-opener for some of the drivers to kind of cool their jets. We still have a long way to go here, Matt.
Yeah, the biggest thing that Donald's going to be thankful for is that truck was able to run to get back around to pit road. He won't lose laps by having to get a tow. So a good thing there for him is, even though he'll be starting back at the end of the field.
Some trucks sitting there on the apron. We don't know if they'll come down for a pit yet. I mean, it's really early, so I wouldn't see why as they come back up onto the track and will fall back in line. Your top 5 right now, not a lot has changed. Michael Churchma still at the lead in that number 88 machine. Bruce Arbachard in 2nd. Dallas Miracle in 3rd. David Wenk in 4th. And Gary Bauer is sitting in your top 5 position.
Yeah, Ted, let's just take a note as ETV Live has done a lot of renovations to their site since we left on a Cora race. You guys can hop in the chat room and talk with me, Ted, JD, all up there in the chat room. Just click that link in the top left right above your stream on there and say hello.
Yeah, definitely drop by and say hello to us. Something we'd like to mention, we mentioned it before, is that at next caution that we have out on the Speedway, we'll be bringing in the Chief Operations Officer of the Championship Online Racing Association Sunday Money Series, Kevin McCarthy, and he will be giving a special announcement on who the winner is of the 1-year iRacing subscription. How that happens now, I didn't have really a lot of time to explain it, so I'm going to explain it again for all you watching this on the feed. What happens is every driver that races in a Cora Sunday Money Series race this season, their name, no matter how many times they have entered a race, it could be 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, it could be indefinite, how many times they've raced, their name gets put in a hat on a slip of paper. At the end of this season, Kevin McCarthy and the boys at Cora dip their hand into that hat, pull out a piece of paper, and whoever's name is on that paper wins a 1-year subscription to iRacing. And Matt, it can't get any better than that.
No, I definitely can't get any better than that. Especially all us racers here know how expensive that really is with the way things work over here on the iRacing sim. So definitely these guys putting out a lot of money to make these guys really want to race hard.
And with something like that, you can always bet that there will be some good action and great racing. When one has to buy into a race, it usually means that someone is a lot more professional, races a lot better than most. because a lot of people, if they're just here to race and not really take anything serious, they're not gonna spend money to go ahead and race. So that's also helps with this whole with giving money up to race in the Sunday Money Series. But on top of that, it also opens it up for you to have that cash prize, and that cash prize is one hell of an incentive for the drivers out there tonight. As we come around, the lights will probably go off on the pace car this time by, as we have cleared the debris from the track, and we'll be back to race here at Talladega Super Speedway.
And Ted, I know we talked about it during the intro video earlier, but not to these people out here. The points difference between Dale Somali and David Wink is just 9 positions. Towards the end of the race, if they're 8 positions apart, that's a $100 position in front of David Wink there that he can just take away from Dale Somali any second when he gets the chance.
Yeah, it is certainly something that Dale Smalley has to look at, as right now he sits in the 7th position, David Wink in the 4th position, so he already has 3 spots on him to begin with, and that spot could either open or it could close as the race goes on by. I'll tell you right now, Dale Smalley wants that trophy, the 2nd trophy. He also won it last year here in a very close race between him and Gordon Berkey. And so just like last year, it's come down to almost an even closer race. But the 2 guys you want to look at today is Dale Smalley and David Wink. Because at the end of this race, one of those 2 will be crowned your champion of Season 2 of the Sunday Money Series.
So Donald Sadusky will get the black flag and have to go to the end of the line for causing the yellow. If he does cause another one, that means he will no longer be able to race tonight. So keep that in mind, guys, that he also has to be careful for the rest of this race on how aggressive he really is.
Yeah, because a lot of times what will happen in the Sunday Money Series is that people will have to go behind the wall, not because their car is ruined, but because of the penalties that have been given out. And some people might watch this and think that it's very strict of them to give out these types of penalties, but in all honesty, it's probably the best thing to happen to this league because it teaches people to really slow the roll, calm down, and not race for the win when you're 2 laps into the race. And that ends up breeding better racing as the time goes by. But we're currently on lap 6 out of 101 here at Talladega Super Speedway. Michael Churchma is your leader, and so anything can happen at this point. It's very early on still, and so I still think that we're gonna have a good race. One thing that I hope doesn't happen, I pray that doesn't happen, is what we had last time we were here at Talladega, which I think was around week 5 of this of the Sunday Money Series. It was around, I think, hold on, let me look this up real quick. No, it was around week 3, May 19th. They raced here at Talladega. Dallas Miracle coming out on top with the win then, and they were in the trucks as well. Very interesting race, to say the least. It definitely stood out there for most of us. But Matt, hopefully tonight we won't have that same thing happen.
Yeah, unfortunately, as I mentioned earlier, using a tow does cost you laps here at this track. Tina Holt, the only one to have to use a tow under that first yellow, and she's now showing 2 laps down, Ted. So in the event of the next caution, she will be most likely the lucky dog if nobody else gets put a quick lap down here. So unfortunate for her, but yeah, in that last race, wrecking to the finish line, Dallas Miracle probably didn't even think he had a chance to win. He was just trying to help out his teammate to the line, and he got spun sideways in front of him. So his fortune was another one's loss, but I'm sure he loved it.
Oh, he absolutely loved it, because right now he's up there in the points because of that, and he doesn't have as good of a chance as, say, David Wink, but he certainly has a really good chance to be up there. Looking up there at the front, right before we go green, pace car's light is off as they head off the corner onto the front stretch coming up. Michael Churchma, Bruce R. Bouchard, and David Wink all have the same paint schemes, which means they're all teammates. So look for them as the race goes on to be right next to each other and neck to neck. But I'll tell you right now, as the time goes on, the laps wind down, when you're on that final lap, I think the whole teammate aspect goes right out the window coming down to that checkered flag, because right now they just want to win. They want to be known to win that final race of the season, because their name will move on to the next season as the one who won the previous race. Green flag is up in the air. We are back to racing here at Talladega Super Speedway. Neck and neck are the leaders heading off into one.
I'm looking to see exactly what we saw last time. One of these drivers to get pushed out front, switch right up into the other lane with their teammates, and carry on leading laps. Because it looks like Churchman's going to be the one that's out front to do that. Let's see if he goes to hop up with Bouchard.
Yeah, Churchman being pushed by the number 48 of Dallas Miracle, past his teammates of David Wank and Bruce R. Bouchard. One reason why I don't think he's going to jump up too quick yet is because Dallas Miracle in that 48 has a very fast truck. Not only that, you have the two teammates of his other two teammates of Bruce R. Bouchard and David Wank working together, and a 3-truck tandem doesn't really work too well here. However, Bruce R. Bouchard and David Wank will jump down now behind Dallas Miracle, and your top 7 trucks there rather, will be in a straight line, single file line heading into one.
Yeah, as you mentioned, the 3-car tango didn't work so much. And as I saw Bouchard come down, they cut it so close it almost looked like they were going to try and 4-truck push it for a little bit. But they thought smarter than that, as it usually doesn't end up too well for most of those drivers behind them.
And talking about behind him, looking back at the number 14 machine of Mark Montanari, rather, he's sitting up there trying to move his way up. He's right behind that number 5 car of Alan Larson, who is riding in that Cora Championship Online Racing Association vehicle, and he'll be pushing. Right behind them in that 2 machine, Mark Jackson. That's a nice little group moving up there. He currently sits in 11th place, trying to fight for a top 10 position early. He's being pushed by the number 01 of Jonathan Smith, and they seem to be making some ground on that high line, Matt.
Yeah, I'm looking back into the field. Ron McMahon lost a lot of spots on that start. He couldn't find anybody to work with, but he eventually got picked up by the 99 as Skip Lynn, and they're moving their way through that second pack, trying to pick up some spots before the end of this race.
And as they move their way up into the turn, they'll start catching up to a bigger pack, which will start making some things interesting. Looking at that number 22 machine of Eric Sharp, it seems that the rear of his car, that fender, is a little bent in, maybe from a little too forceful of bump drafting. Can't be too sure about that, but you gotta wonder if this early on, if that's a good thing, because that might affect aerodynamics, Matt.
Yeah, it definitely could affect aerodynamics. Looking up front, though, little 3-wide action for you as David Wink was overheating and had to have Bruce Bouchard get out of the way for him. Is they're all trying to get this figured out so they can get their engines cooled.
Yeah, what will happen is David Wank will jump to the high side using that wide backstretch as a little buffer zone for him, so something bad doesn't happen with him. But he will drop back, and dropping back with him like a good teammate is Bruce R. Bouchard in that 11 machine. He's been working with Wank so far this race, and he will hook back up with him, and they'll try to move their way back up. But that shakes up a few things, because look at the number 69 car, Talladega Nights paint scheme. Dale Smalley, that number 69 machine, as he moves up, being pushed by the number 51 of Nicholas Doucette, the 11-year-old. And Gary Bowers right in front of them in that 07 car. He's moving his way up. He wants a little taste of the action, and he wants that first place, Matt.
Yeah, Nick Doucette definitely making a strong run out here for just his second race with the Cora team. I usually can't see that third car hang behind a 2-truck tandem like that, but able to do it with a little bit of air coming off Alan Larson, or at least there was before he kind of just got dropped out of that pack. Really helping him. It's hard to keep up with these tangos when you're a solo truck behind him.
Definitely is, but as you see, they've caught up to that lead pack of Michael Churchma and Dallas Miracle, and what might end up happening is they could probably try to hook up and move together. Both that 11-year-old kid, Nicholas Doucette, and Dale Smalley could probably hook up, so a veteran and a young gun moving up there. But seeing on that high side, number 17 of Gordon Berkey and the number 14 of Mark Martinari, they got a huge run on that high side, and they'll jump in line right behind Mark Jackson in the 2. And that looks like the 01 of Jonathan Smith. So now a high line and low line really defining themselves, heading on to the backstretch and into 3.
Yeah, teammate of Churchman looking for that lead, but it looks like his tango partner is going to pull out there for some air. as he can't quite stay behind him. It's just going to really slow down that high line with the 01 and Jonathan Smith doing that, trying to keep the truck cool all at the same time.
And they get bunched up a little bit. See, the thing with these is when you're running those two-car tandems, or even when you're stuck behind a truck drafting, it really starts to overheat your engine a ton. And so you're going to have to stick your nose out there, get some more air into your engine, cool it off. If that doesn't happen, it could get too hot and you'll have to jump out, which is what David Wank had to do earlier, which kind of botched a lot of people up, knocked them up and everything, and tried to switch things up. However, it doesn't look like that's happening anymore. Everybody kind of falls back in line once again. Someone making that run on that high side, it's the ETV live truck of Alan Larson, that number 5. He's moving up quick with his drafting partner. He'll jump down low, try to get around that number 14 machine. But everybody's starting to pack right back up against each other once again. That main pack is starting to define themselves a little bit more as they will pass the start-finish line, making it lap 15 out of 101 here at Talladega Super Speedway.
Yeah, at 72, Ron McMahon has finally started making a move to the outside with his teammate there, the 99, or at least for his teammate for right now. If they can keep trying to do that, as the outside line staying dead even up front, it's more like who's going to overheat first.
Yeah, that's essentially how it is right now, or what it looks like is just they're racing, and then, I'm overheating, I got to jump out of line, and then they'll jump out of line and move on back. Next person will move up in line, and they'll overheat, they'll jump out as well. So right now it's a matter of who's overheating and who isn't. And but that just goes to show that they're racing very hard. They're trying to get everything out of their truck that they possibly can to get up there and fight for that lead. Because as of right now, that number 88 machine of Michael Churchma is just absolutely dominating the race as he sits back there in that third position. He's really making headway. He has a very strong truck. But looking up there in that second position, Dale Smalley, our points leader, sitting right behind Dallas Miracle, is the number 88 of Michael Churchman jumping up in front of his two teammates of the 40 of David Wank and the 2 of Mark Jackson.
Yeah, as they completed lap 15 last time by, coming to complete lap 16, Dale Somali has now started to work with Dallas Markle to work his way out into the lead. This is not good news for the 40 David Wank you see back there in 4th place, as he needs to put a huge separation between those two trucks.
Yeah, he needs to try to separate himself well from those two trucks, but as of right now, it's deemed a little bit hard. A lot of these guys have very fast trucks out here. It's not often that you see. Usually by this point, we're on lap 17. Usually by this point, you have drivers who have defined themselves more than everybody else. They've stuck themselves out there. They've gotten really out there and proven that they're the fastest trucks. But right now, it's anybody's game. You got most guys out there, but I mean, there's a bunch of names up there towards the front of the pack who are racing hard. Dale Smalley jumping up there, or Dallas Miracle rather, jumping up there, started overheating, and then Dale Smalley jumped up with him, picked him back up. And now Bruce R. Bichard in that 11 machine, along with the number 51 of Nicholas Doucette, they'll jump to the inside and they'll be racing for the lead.
What they need to hope happens here is when Churchma goes to make his switch, David Wank should just stay to the inside, because when Churchma goes up, they'll slow down that outside line and give him that separation he'll need towards this points championship. And hopefully, Wank's going to hope Churchma's an understanding teammate for the night so we can get that $100 and grand prize cash.
Oh man, and that $100 sure does sound sweet, especially when you're doing something like racing. Something that you love, and such easy money it seems to some of these guys. But looking up in front, 1, 2, and 3, that's Michael Churchma, David Wank, and Bruce R. Bichard, teammates making their way up there, moving fast and going fast as their single file line from about 1st place all the way back to 6th.
Yeah, that whole team up there carrying. There's only about 2 teammates back that aren't with them right now, but they're carrying that youngster with them as he's going to the high side looking for the lead. Churchma goes up to throw a block on Bichard. Maybe those couple teammates try and hook up for now as Nicholas Doucette goes to pick up the 40 David Wank on the inside and make another charge for the lead on coming to the stripe this time.
Yeah, that was a nice little switch up. Michael Churchman jumped up there, kind of threw Nicholas Doucette for a loop right there. He got confused, and he said, well, if he's going to jump up there, I'm going to jump down to David Wink and take advantage of this fast truck, which he ends up doing. We're on lap 20 out of 101 here at Talladega Super Speedway. We're going to step away. Green flag racing so far. We'll be back after these commercial breaks.
Plus other listeners where you could hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETV, live sports radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks, HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com.
Fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Drivers, start your engines!
Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4, and the checkered flag, he wins his first NASCAR iRacing.
And we are back live here at Talladega Super Speedway. Bruce Arbachard still up front with Michael Churchman in second, David Wank in third, Nicholas Doucette in fourth, Dale Smalley in fifth, rounding out your top 5 there. Not a lot has happened. We're still green here, believe it or not, here at Talladega Super Speedway. And so far we've had some good racing, Matt.
Yeah, so far some good racing. That 55, Tina Holt struggling though out back, all by her lonesome. 2 laps down already, just couldn't find anybody to match up with before it was too late. So unfortunately she won't even get the lucky dog, Ted, because you got Daryl Cronkite who fell a lap down at some point.
Yep, tough luck for Tina Holt, but hopefully she'll still hold on to it, and maybe after that she'll jump back on the lead lap somehow, some way. First trucks to jump down going into the pits. That's the number 48, it looks like, of Dallas Miracle, Matt. And he'll go ahead and jump down along with the 69 of Dale Smalley as green flag pit stops are now underway here at Talladega Super Speedway.
Yeah, Ted, and this is a little bit of the reverse pit stop strategy. Not running it fully out now, but having to run it fully out at the end. You gotta hope he's got all that math right in his head, or else he's gonna have to make an extra pit stop.
Yeah, and tough luck for him as he's gonna have to do that, but looking back up in front, we just gotta wonder ourselves is, well, the number 48 there, Dallas Miracle will get the gas and go, and we'll head underway. Same with the number 69 at Dale Smalley. Looking back up front though, at your leaders, Bruce Arbachard and Michael Churchman, wondering when they're gonna go ahead and take their pit stops as they head down the front stretch once again, headed towards that line. It will be lap 26 out of 101 as we're still green.
Yeah, and if I was these guys, I want to stay in this big group because when you switch, you don't lose as much time when you're in a big group because you got these other guys helping you draft right up. Where that 40, or excuse me, not the 40, the 48 and the 69, when they go to switch, it's just going to be straight air hitting the front of those cars. It's going to slow them down a lot more.
Yeah, it certainly is, but it doesn't look like it's affecting Bruce Arbachard there too much as he's just out there, along with his teammate Michael Churchma. But Paul Doucette back there in the 51 machine, or Nicholas Doucette rather, in that 51 machine, is pushing David Wank, Bruce Arbachard's teammate and Michael Churchman's teammate, and they're just he's fast. He's got a fast truck. I'm really impressed by this kid. We're just getting word now that 29 Joel Wood is taking his truck behind the wall, so he'll be out of this race. So tough luck for him. Mechanical issues, blown engine, but I mean, just tough luck.
Yeah, just tough luck for him as he had some problems here tonight, guys. Just out front though, Bruce Arbachard gonna get a little bit of a challenge as they're making that switch. Churchman comes down and blocks out David Wank from the run they had. That's throwing up a little bit of a mess for the top four here.
Yeah, just a little bit, but those top three that you have, all teammates, all know. I mean, hey, they're no strangers to these racetracks. They're no strangers to this league. All big names with Churchman, Bouchard, and Wank. So not a big deal with them. But when you look at the young gun like Nicholas Doucette, it's actually pretty cool. And you know, sitting in his shoes right now, he's probably saying to himself, "Hey, this is pretty neat hanging up here with all these big name guys," you know. So I mean, just a good racer. I'm really what's the word? I'm happy that he's doing such a good job. Whoa, that 55 car, I think that was of Tina Holt, just barely went by those guys as they went along the side.
Guys, as I mentioned earlier, though, the tandem of Dale Somali, Dallas Markle, when they switch, it will cost them more time. I watched both the leaders make their switch and that back group there make the switch. Ted and Dale Somali lost about a second off the leaders. So, I mean, they can hold strong when they can stay in their tango, but once they got to go make that switch, they're definitely losing more time than these people up front.
Definitely, and that's really going to affect them as time goes by, because as these main cars start gaining up on them, I mean, if you go down a lap, that's it. Regardless if these guys go back into the pits after this to do pit stops. So I don't know if it was such a good call to go so early here on pit stops, but they did what they did. Can't take back what you did, and so it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out later on.
You got, once again, Alan Larson back there in the ETV live car in the middle of a 3-wide situation for a second, finally getting it sorted out and sliding back down in front of the 11, not the 11, but he's going to start working his way back towards the front.
Yeah, he'll start making his way back up to the front once again. That was a little hairy of a situation, but he got himself out of it, jumped down, and is now looking to hook back up with that number 17 car of Gordon Berkey. And they'll hook back up. They'll start pushing their way back up there. On their high side, though, that number 19 car, Donald Sadusky, he was the one that was in the wreck earlier that brought out our first caution. He's been his backup car, and he's up to 8th place right now. 9th place now being shown. And he's making his way back up there with that number 18 car of Jay Anderson, another truck who was in that wreck earlier. So 2 trucks that were in the wreck that brought out the first caution, they're up there in the top 10 fighting for that number 1 spot. And they're holding their own.
Yeah, the person that's liking this most though is David Wink, knowing that Dallas Marco and Dale Somali have lost so much time at this point. You got to think, is this really going to help him out at the end of the race, pitting with the bigger crowd, then going by himself down there with Nick and trying to pick up some time solo?
Yep, that is one thing that they're going to have to definitely look at. We're on lap 31 out of 101 laps here at Talladega Super Speedway. And so right now they're probably asking themselves what the new strategy is going to be. Whoa, the number who was it? The Bruce Arbachar in that 11 car. He jumped up here. He had to make a switch, it looked like, and after he jumped up, Michael Churchman had to jump up and try to save him there with the drafting buddy, because Bruce Arbachar just started dropping like a rock on back the pack. He's now back in that 5th, 6th position, and so like you've been saying, Matt, is that with these guys having to switch because they're heating up and all that different stuff, it really affects them, because when they jump up and they have no one anymore to push with, they just drop like a sack of potatoes behind all those other trucks. For all you guys watching out there, this race tonight for the Championship Online Racing Association Sunday Money Series, if you look right above the feed there, you got a little link that says that you can open up the live link chat room, so you can chat with all of us. Matt's in there, I'm in there, JD's in there, all the big guns are in there. So if you want to click on that, jump on in and enjoy the conversation about the race, go ahead and do that. Please put in your real name. We much appreciate it.
Talk about some of the things that allows us to do stuff like this over here on ETV Live. You got people like Bob Rowe Racing, a real racing man who designed a cockpit, very comfortable, very affordable, and it's definitely built for racing as if you were actually in the car, guys. You can check that out at bobroweracing.com. It's only $349. It can be a Christmas gift, a great birthday present for one of your kids, anything like that. You just have to go to bobroweracing.com.
Lap 34 out of 101 here at Talladega Super Speedway. That number 14 car of Mark Montanari, pushed by the number 01 of Jonathan Smith. He's up high. He's looking for the lead, but it's going to be very hard to get it from David Wankin. That 40 car being pushed by the 11-year-old, the young gun, Nicholas Doucette, as they push their way down the front stretch, and they'll head into the tri-oval and pass that line. But all of a sudden, Mark Montanari just getting a huge push by Jonathan Smith, and they'll jump out there to a significant lead, as Mark Montanari is now being shown as your leader. Mark Montanari is in first place, Jonathan Smith in second, David Wink in third, Nicholas Doucette rather in fourth, and Michael Churchman rounding out your top 5.
Yeah, definitely showing some weakness at the beginning of the race was Jonathan Smith, but he's got his truck all figured out here in the late stages. Obviously, by pushing up Mark Montanari to the lead, they're coming up on some lap traffic, though, that's going to shake up this field.
It's definitely going to shake up the field, and it's going to be interesting to see what all these guys do, because when you're bump drafting somebody that close behind, when you are right on their rear there, it's very hard to see over them. It's very hard to see exactly what's going on in front of you. Some more trucks have gone down onto the pit road there, and so we'll get a look at to see who exactly that is that have dipped down onto pit road. It looks like it is Gary Bauer, that number 07 machine. He will dip in along with Alan Starring in that number 96 truck. They will jump down in their pits. Alan Starring in that number 96, he'll jump up on his right side. He'll take 2 tires on the right side, get some gas, and he will be out and underway. Quick stop. Gary Bauer taking some tires too, some gas. He'll peel out, and he'll get out underway as well.
Yeah, out underway. These guys trying to make up some time too on the leaders, I guess. Didn't want to be in the traffic. We're getting the word that even more cars have been. Get the 56 pitting now. As we're coming down to these end of the final few laps, these are going to be the last laps of your fuel run. You get about 40 to 42 laps here if you've been good with your gas tanks. So we're going to start seeing huge groups of cars pulling down on pit road anytime now.
Yeah, anytime they'll be jumping down onto pit road. All these main drivers are now starting to get the hint that they need to get on down there. So you have the 96, the 56, the 18, the 19, all jumping down onto pit road right now. And along with a bunch of other drivers as well, will start jumping on down there, getting gas and tires. Matt, I'm kind of really surprised here. This is actually a nice surprise, though, that we've gone green this far without an incident. And so it's pretty nice to actually be able to broadcast some green flag pit stops, something that we haven't been really able to do with the Championship Online Racing Association Sunday Money Series.
Yeah, Dale Somali, though, and Dallas Markle have gained that second they lost earlier on somewhere with all these cars pulling off. So they definitely have to make sure when Churchma, Wenk go down to take their pit stops, they get down into pit road cleanly. Going from 200 miles an hour to 55 isn't going to be a easy job itself.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty hard to do that. They might lock up their tires, and other trucks behind them might not be understanding exactly what's going to happen. So it's pretty. Whoa! Hey, there you go. The leaders will jump down there. David Wenk and Nicholas Doucette in that 51 will jump on down, and they will be going into the pits this time by. And as well with the number 33 truck, he will pit, and along with the 02, they will pit as well. David Wenk is right down there on pit row. We'll see exactly what he is going to take, what his strategy is. Nicholas Doucette just got into his pit as well. So David Wenk will get in, his crew will jump out, start going to work on the car. He's getting some fuel in there right now. It doesn't look like he's going to be taking any tires. And he won't take any tires. That's a gas and go for David Wenk. So David Wenk will take gas only and will head back out as green flag pit stops are underway here at Talladega Super Speedway. Jonathan Smith in that 01 truck, he is currently pegged as your leader with Mark Montanari sitting in second place, Alan Larson in third, Gordon Berkey in fourth, or rather Michael Churchma in third, Bruce Arbachard in fourth, Alan Larson's in fifth, and Gordon Berkey's in sixth. They're heading, green flag pit stops are now out, so your leaderboard is going to start jumping around. It's going to start messing up, and then after a while we'll start getting back to normal. Something that could really screw all of this up is a caution though right now, because if a caution comes out, a lot of these guys are going to be stuck one lap down or what have you, and they're going to have to race their way back up. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen as a lot of the leaders start jumping down. Jonathan Smith, Mark Montanari, Michael Churchma, Bruce Arbachard, all jumping down into the pits. Big crowd of them all pitting.
Yeah, a huge crowd of these drivers coming down. They got to be real careful not to run into each other, block each other from their pit stalls, or anything like that. It's going to wreak havoc down here on pit road.
Yeah, it certainly would, and I mean, a lot of drivers will not be happy if that ended up happening. Bruce Arbachard, Michael Churchman now diving into their pit boxes. Their pit stalls 1 and 2. They will get in there, getting some Sunoco racing fuel into their into their tanks, rather their gas tanks. It doesn't look like they'll be getting any tires as Michael Churchma and Bruce Arbachard are both back underway. Same with that number 14 truck, as he will jump out as well, and they're back underway here at Talladega. Whoa, and we got a truck spinning there as he was coming out to pit. He's back there spinning. That's Ron McMahon in that 72 truck. He came spinning down off of turn 4. It seems like he got into a car, or into a truck rather, and that truck would be the number 99 truck, and that's of Skip Lynn. So looking back at what just happened, that 72 Ron McMahon getting tapped as he was trying to come down, no doubt, into pit. He'll spin his truck around doing a couple pirouettes, yeah, but he'll keep it off the wall. No damage, no cosmetic damage, however. But he's going to have to get 4 fresh Goodyear tires on that machine if he wants to get back up there and compete for a win.
Yeah, definitely a lot of work to have to get done for him to get back up there. But as we complete green flag pit stops here, we're going to step away and go to commercial break for just a moment. Don't step away.
InsideSimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Landon Huffman coming to a comfortable lead, coming out of 2. He's got about 8 car lengths, put it half a second over to Wayne Vincent as Chad Cole works the number 2 spot.
Time is running out. Vincent's got it. Cole wants it to the wall. Chevrolet puts the bumper to the 13 of Vincent. Vincent not backing down. He's in second. You know, and we got one car on the bottom, the 10 car.
Back here with Championship Online Racing Associate. Alright, now we're back live here with Championship Online Racing Association Sunday Money Series. We're in the Chevy Silverados at Talladega. Just completing lap 45, Dallas Margle, Dale Somali being shown your leaders by about 5 seconds. But they had a couple major differences on their pit stop from everybody else. They took less gas, JD, and they didn't have all that traffic everybody else was dealing with.
You bet, and I'll tell you what, 5 seconds back, sitting back there in third position, Alan Starr and Gary Bauer right behind them. The 07 and the 96 back here. They're bringing a trailer full of trucks with them back here all the way back to about 8th position. David Wank in a 40 truck back here. But I'll tell you what, you can even go deeper than that. Top 10 are about 8 seconds or so behind the leader with Mark Jackson back here in the number 2 machine. And behind them, starting in 11th position, the 93 machine of Salvatore Accardi, 11 seconds behind the leader. So we've got a couple of packs of trucks here after green flag pit stops at Talladega.
Yeah, and green flag pit stop shaking a little bit up as David Wink's now back to 8th place. So he's lost a few spots and still working with Nicholas Doucette though, JD. They look like they've switched it up. David Wink was getting most of the push-in earlier on this race, but now he's doing the pushing as they're trying to work some time back up here on your leaders.
Yeah, something going on back here in the 93 machine, back here 12th position. Salvatore Accardi just slammed the brakes on, and he's slowing up back here on the backstretch. Don't know if he may be out of fuel or not. I do believe the 93 did make his scheduled pit stop, but something obviously going on with that number 93 machine here, back here in 12th position. 46 laps in the books here at Talladega, and we'll keep an eye on that situation as it plays out. But I'll tell you what, in the meantime, Dale Smalley holding down the fort up here in front with Dallas Markle, that 48 truck. Stepping in for Ted Manning. Ted's a brand new daddy, and he's having baby problems at home, apparently. I think he might be babysitting tonight. So he's got like about a 2-week-old son that he's got to deal with at home. So I'll be filling in for Ted while he's stepped away here. But in the meantime, pretty good race going on here at Talladega here, Matt.
Yeah, it would appear that Salvatore Accardi off the pace as he's probably out of fuel, trying to just coast his way down to his pit stop. So making a couple late pit stops here for, it looks like maybe even a couple people doing it, not realizing that they were about to run out of gas.
Yeah, and I thought I had seen a 93 on pit road. Maybe not. There was a herd of cars that came down pit road here just before the commercial break. I didn't. I thought I had seen an orange truck look like a Cardi, but apparently not. But the 93 does make it down on pit road. Unfortunately, he's going to go a lap down here, and that's going to be some work to try to get that lap back. In fact, he's going to go down pretty deep in the field, 1 lap down. So if the caution does come out, Colton Berkey sitting in 21st position in the 81 machine, Matt, he would be the recipient if the caution came out now. But of course, all those guys a lap down, they're running their own race too. So who's going to be that next lucky dog if the caution flies here? But in the meantime here, 2 groups of cars racing. We've got the first group up here, top 10 all the way back to about Mark Jackson. And then starting in 11th position now, Mark Montanari in the 14 machine. He's 15 seconds, almost 16 behind the leader here. Now he's going to bring that second pack, which is pretty spread out, all the way back to almost 20, say 24, 25 seconds behind the leader here. So they definitely got their work cut out for them. But Matt, if they can do the 2x2 thing, dance that two-step, stay together here, they might be able to close the distance and work themselves back up to the lead.
Yeah, they've got to do that in order to do it, JD. Up front, though, it's just who can do it better. Can Dallas Markle, Dale Somali tango better than Bruce Arbachard and Churchma as they really try and figure out who gained time off that restart, or not that restart, excuse me, off the green flag pit stops that we saw just a moment ago.
You bet. And, I heard you guys talking about it before. Dale Smalley, I believe he was a Season 1 champion, so he went home with a $100 check from Championship Online Racing Association. Smalley, your points leader, coming into Talladega here tonight, the season final. And I think this cowboy's looking for another payday. So I'll tell you what, that number 69 truck certainly knows how to get the job done. Dancing partner Dallas Markle out here in that 48 machine. I love that Duck Dynasty on the back of that machine. I guess you got to be from Louisiana or North Carolina to understand all that. But I'll tell you what, pretty cool looking truck.
Yeah, and payday comes for Dale Somali sooner than later, JD, as he was the leader at the halfway point. He led lap 50, and we got a sponsor tonight that's giving out some special cash prizes. Ted had a little bit more on that, more than I did, JD.
Yeah, I believe it was Barks Competition Karting, and it was an award. I believe it was a halfway award.
Yeah, it was a halfway award, but we got caution out for the second time tonight after a long green flag run, trying to figure out about where that happened on the track.
It's going to be Donald King in the number 23 machine back here in 15th position, rolling it back on my machine. Looks like the 19 might be involved here. In fact, it might even be more than the 19. The 29 might have started that whole thing with a bump draft gone wrong. Roll it back here just a little bit further. All right, we got it pulled up here. Actually, it looks like trying to get to the right truck here. Yeah, I think it was a bump draft gone wrong, and the 19 and the I want to say the 18 machine up in front of them might have gotten hooked up there together a little bit. A little miscue, and the 19 catches the bumper just right at the right angle and goes for a wild ride. And it's going to pick up the 23, take him with him.
That's about what happens there. You see him getting loose, sliding around on the track, and you just can't save it at that point. It's too late. But like I said, fortunately for some of these drivers like Donald King, where his truck's still running, he won't tow, he won't lose laps over this. He'll just have to go down on pit road, get that thing, or no, I guess you can't repair that thing anymore, JD. He's got to get the backup out and try and go forward with this race. But definitely somebody sad to see this is people with a different pit strategy like Dale Somali, Dallas Markle that had that 5-second lead.
Absolutely. I tell you what, this is going to close the gap. Remember, we were talking about that second pack of trucks back here that were running about anywhere from 11 to 20 some odd seconds back. Well, this is their opportunity to catch up. Colton Berkey looks like he's in place to get the lucky dog here tonight. But I'll tell you what, we were, I know Ted and you guys were talking about this special announcement coming here from Championship Online Racing. We've actually brought the CEO, Kevin McCarthy, up on the radio here. Kevin, this is JD and Matt up here in the booth. You got a copy on us?
Copy that.
All right, Chief Operating Officer Kevin McCarthy, he's got a special announcement to make. I believe it's the winner of the one-year subscription to iRacing. Kevin, take it away.
Yes, and Cora is proud to present that subscription to Everett D. Lane, Old School Motorsports. Congratulations, Everett, on that iRacing subscription, brought to you by Cora.
All right, fantastic news. And I'll tell you what, that subscription is probably worth something better than a pot of gold. You think, Kevin?
Yeah, it's a pretty special thing. You know, all these guys have gone through the season and qualified for these races, getting the opportunity to get a draw into this. And sometimes it doesn't matter how many, at least you got one in there, and Everett was a lucky guy out of that. And I believe he'll be pretty happy to hear that when I get back on the track there and keep doing my job.
Absolutely. And
Oh,
I'll tell you what,
he heard that live, by the way.
All right, I heard the yeehaw from somebody down there, so that's a good thing. Everett D. Lane, he's the winner of the one-year subscription here from Championship Online Racing. How's the race going for you, Kevin?
Race is going pretty good. We've had quite a green run there. A lot of lead changes through the pit stops. Right now, I'm about to give out a couple of infractions there. One, we're going to be waving Colton Berkey. He'll be getting the wave around, and the person that was responsible for that will be getting a black flag is Donald Sandusky. Unfortunately, he's second time for his incident tonight there being responsible, so he'll be getting a black flag for that under race conditions, holding him back. Then if he happens to get into one more time, he'll be DQ'd from the race.
All right, Kevin McCarthy, Chief Operations Officer with Championship Online Racing Association, and like you heard, Colton Berkey getting the wave around, lucky dog, so we'll move him up one notch. But Kevin, thanks for joining us up here in the booth, and we'll let you get back to your duties.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, boys.
All right, and I think Ted's back.
Yes, I am.
Daddy's back.
Yeah, I had a little mix up with the kid. I had to go take care of him because he's brand new. It's like, I think, yeah, he's actually a week old today. So
a week old.
Yeah.
Isn't that's pretty much a handful, isn't it?
Oh, God, yeah, more than you know. Enough to take me away from this awesome race and to have to go take care of him real quick and see what's going on. So, but I'm back. I'm ready to go and see the rest of this race.
All right, I'm going to turn the mic over to new daddy, Ted Manning, and we're under caution here, I believe, for the second time only at Talladega. So, Ted, the mic is yours.
Well, thank you very much. Matt, if you want to kind of break down what's happened so far for both me and both the viewers who are just tuning in, I'm hearing that we're back under a second caution here today.
Yeah, back under a second caution that involved Donald King in 19, Donald Sandusky, who's going to get, like we heard from McCarthy there, he'll get the hold on this after causing that yellow, so he's going to come down pit road, stay there for a little bit, and think about what he's caused out here on the racetrack tonight, as he's caused these drivers twice to come under such slow pace. But Ted, we blew a 5-second lead that Dale Smalley, Dallas Markle had, and it seems that they have actually put themselves back in the field with a pit stop.
Yeah, it seems to me that has happened. Looking down at the number 69 there, Dale Smalley, he's sitting back currently, being shown in the 10th position. He's in the top 10, but yeah, he sits on back there. He's pretty good. He's got that 10th position up there. Gary Bauer and that number 07. He's the one who's going to be our leader, sitting up there in shown in first place with Alan Starring in that 96, Jay Anderson in the 3rd, James Brown in the 4th, and Nicholas Doucette in the 5th. Nicholas Doucette, he's the one that I've been looking at the most, sitting there and up there almost all day, and so that's pretty cool to see something like that. We're just getting word now that Salvatore Accardi has pulled his machine behind the wall, that number 93 machine, so he'll pull that behind the wall. He'll be done for today, but we're on lap 55 out of 101 here, just past the halfway mark. And I'm going to be honest, Matt, the fact that we're only 2 cautions deep so far, and we're already past the halfway mark here at Talladega, especially what we saw at week 3, that's pretty fantastic. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely pretty cool. Here is, there's still championship battles going on all over the place. I'm trying to find Wink where he's currently, as I'm looking through this line, he's 6th, leading Dale Somali, who's in 10th, but that's not enough trucks in between them. Tonight, they got some work still to do there if he really wants to pick up the end of the season prize here.
Yeah, it's gonna have some work to do, but I mean, this has probably been the fastest we've ever we've had it so far in the short time that the Sunday Money Series has been here on ETV Live, and so it's pretty cool that it's pretty cool to see how close it's gotten, and I mean that just opens it up for new things next season. When you really think about it, like when you see how this season acts, and then going into next or this season acts, it gets you excited for the upcoming seasons after this. And I have a feeling that Cora's going to put on the Sunday Money Series for a long time, because as long as people are paying to race and they're winning that money, then you're going to keep on seeing it. And it's just great race, man. When you actually have people racing in iRacing for money and everything, it gives you just some great racing, absolutely great racing. But they head through the tri-oval. They're going towards that start-finish line. Green flag up in the air, and Gary Bauer in that 07 machine will take it. And we'll jump out in front of the 96 of Alan Staring, and he's being pushed by the 18 of Jay Anderson. And right behind them, Nicholas Doucette pushing hard. And he got those teammates, 3 teammates in a row actually, with Mark Jackson, David Wink, and it looks to me like Eric Sharp in that 22 machine. So they're all working together, but whoa, Bauer up to the top side there.
Yeah, Bauer up to the top side, trying to make a move toward, well, not move towards the lead, but trying to keep the lead. It looks like hooking up with the people that he wants to work with. The low lane will just go cruising on by as he can't get his stuff figured out there on the high line quick enough.
Looking at the outshot of that, you have all 5 teammates with Mark Jackson, David Wank, Bruce Arbachard in that 11 machine, and Michael Churchman in the 88 all together up there. So you got to wonder what they're talking about right now to each other on the team talk. But up there in front, you got 4 cars all racing for that top spot. That's Jay Anderson in that 18 machine being pushed by Nicholas Doucette in that 51. But Gary Bauer definitely has that strong truck on the high side with Alan Staring as they head into 3 and 4.
Yeah, we see this I'm looking at a long stretched out view of these guys. You got 4 cars up front, 2 in between, then a 3-wide battle going on, it looks like, for 5th place. All being led by the Storm Motorsports 22 car, and Bruce Bichard getting in the middle of that.
Yep, they're all mixing it up back there with Michael Churchman now in the middle in that number 88 machine. He will jump into the mix, and he'll then jump up high, moving past his teammates in that 22 and 11. That's Broussard Bichard and Eric Sharp. As they head off of 2 and onto the backstretch, they're all mixing it up now, boys.
Very strong move there by Churchma as they passed a lot of cars there with such a great push going on, but left a huge separation between that pack and the top 4. So it's really started to hurt. Excuse me, there's actually 6 cars up there in that lead pack now as those last 2 stragglers caught right back up. So huge separation there, Ted. I think it's going to stay that way.
Yeah, it looks to be staying that way for at least the time being. You got 1 car there who's going very, very slow, and that's, it looks like the number 19 of Donald Sadusky, who will then jump down low as he's getting a little bit loose. He's shaking it, but he holds on to his, whoa, he comes up on the track and they're spinning on the turn, out of turn 2 onto the backstretch. They're spinning out. That's Donald Sadusky who just caused that one. Uh-oh. That's not too good, but let's see at the mix who we got caught up there in that wreck. It looks like it might be the man. He sent him spinning too. So Donald Sadusky taking another spin for the guys.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Donald Sadusky, that will actually make it so he can no longer race tonight. And I mean, he didn't get any real damage, just the way that he unresponsibly came up into the track the way he did caused these guys to do a little bit of a freak out. That's 72 there, spinning out the rest of the guys.
Yeah, he ended up scaring the Mac Mahone in that 72 machine. He ended up hitting that number 23 of Donald King, which sent him for a ride. And so Donald Sadusky, I don't know, he's just been giving another end of the line penalty, or no, not another end of the line penalty. I mean, this might be the end of the road though for Donald Sadusky.
Yeah, although this is starting to shake up a little bit of the fuel strategies here, Ted. Thinking if we get enough caution laps like this, the guys who pit under that last yellow possibly making it to the end.
Yep, after such a large green flag run, these boys were not expecting this to end up happening, this caution, so soon. And so it looks to me, well, Gary Bauer will jump back up there and he'll stay back out, but a lot of the trucks, almost all of the main boys are going to head on down there on the pit raid. I think the only people really to stay out there was Bauer, Gary Bauer. You have the number 96 of Alan Starring, and then you have the 51 of Nicholas Doucette. All of them stayed out, but you got David Wank and the rest of the boys coming on down to get some tires and fuel. No, looks like they'll just be getting fuel as David Wank gets in, gas and go, and he'll be out along with Michael Churchman, Bruce Arbachard, and Dallas Miracle. They're all heading out there now, Matt.
Yeah, and we're hearing the number 11 Bruce Arbachard just slid through his stall. He'll lose a lot of positions down there on pit road. But I'd have to say not a smart move for people like Gary Bauer, Alan Starring. These other guys, they just guaranteed themselves to make it to the end of the race, Ted. And their pit crew is packing up, and they're going to go watch this thing from the top of the trailer for the rest of the race because they probably will never pit again unless they get some damage.
Yep, and so right now, Doucette, Starling, and Bauer are all kind of saying to themselves, "Oh man, we should have pit right there." Especially Gary Bauer, he was jumping in, and he thought he was fooling everybody by jumping back out. But I don't know. I think as the laps wind down, he might be kicking himself in the butt there, Matt.
Yeah, definitely not thinking highly of himself. Probably, as he's probably thinking that he put himself in a hard chess position to win this race. But we're going to step away again here with the Championship Online Race Association at Talladega. They're under caution for the third time tonight, and we'll be right back in a couple minutes.
Inside SimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
We are back live here at Talladega Super Speedway here in Alabama, and we're at lap 62 out of 101. So definitely winding down the laps here at Talladega, and so a lot of people are gonna be watching their gas meter right there because they don't want to run out of fuel before this is all over. And that's the talk right now. A lot of these guys don't want to run out of fuel. It's gonna be very close for all of these guys. We saw under caution while we were in commercial, Dallas Miracle, Dale Smalley, a few others coming down and gas and go their cars, so they would make sure they absolutely had enough gas to run them all the way to the end. Talking about Dale Smalley, we're going to look at our point standings real quick, and right now David Wank, who is second in points, is sitting in the third position. Looking down to see where Dale Smalley is, he is in the 20th position. That means if this race were to end right this second, David Wank will run away with your championship, your Cora Sunday Money Series Season 2 championship. But like I said, we're on lap 62 out of 101, so we got a couple ways to go, Matt.
Yeah, we got still a little ways to go, but not too long, Ted. On the way past the halfway point that we said that went to Dale Somali, the competition karting, giving a grand prize out there for the person who led the halfway point, which happened to, I believe they considered it either I'm going to say lap 50 tonight, Ted. We're running 101 laps, so definitely a great prize out there going on. But Dale Somali's going to look at the big picture. He's got a lot of spots to gain these next 40 laps.
Yeah, he definitely does, and that's going to be interesting as the time goes by, because he's probably sitting there right now talking to himself saying, hey man, you're in 17th position right now, you're going to need to jump up there, you're going to need to close that gap on David Wank. And if Dale Smalley ends up doing that, if Dale Smalley ends up coming in or gaining that lap and coming in first place and winning this championship, then Dale Smalley will win back-to-back championships for the Sunday Money Series. So he won last year. He beat out Gordon Berkey on the last laps to end up winning the championship last year. So he won Season 1, and he has a chance to win Season 2. But David Wank also has a chance to take that away from him. We're just getting word right before we go back to green. Lights are off on the pace car. Donald Sadusky in that 19 truck has been disqualified. The race officials got on and said, hey man, you're going to need to park your truck right this instant. And so he complied. He parked his truck behind the wall. So Donald Sadusky, after causing the last 3 cautions that we've had out on this track, he will be sidelined and disqualified from this race.
You got Storm Motorsports all up there in the top 5 trying to get the win tonight, so you got to look for this team to all be working together for the rest of the race, blocking everybody out of their strategy.
Definitely, that's one heck of a picture, seeing all those paint schemes all together. And so come around the tri-oval, head towards that start-finish line, and green flag will be up in the air here at Talladega Super Speedway as Mark Jackson, that 2 car, takes them to the lead out front and into 1.
Down into 1 and taking that high line a little bit to get it together, as they got to hurry up before they get trampled by the rest of the field, and hopefully try and get to the low line. And I want to see these guys probably just get in a little single file as a team and pull away on their own. Behind them down the backstretch, though, you got a little bit of 3 wide situation going on at the front of the second pack. I believe that's going to involve the 72 of Ron McMahon being right in the middle of that LSR TV car. Number 5, Alan Larson, getting all swirly up there on top, trying to avoid the wall. And he'll slide back almost to where Mark Montanari is, putting Dallas Markle and Dale Somali both in a hard spot to try and get their positions back.
It is definitely getting squirrely down there with all those guys bunching up with one another, and someone who does not like to see that is Dale Smalley, that 69 machine. However, he will get clear of it. They will get by out of that 3 wide situation without too much happening. Maybe a little bumped in fenders, maybe a little bit of marks on the side of the truck, but other than that, they're all good as they get by and go back to tandem racing there as they'll try to race their way back up to the front.
They try to race their way back up to the front, as you said, because you know what? Currently, Dale Somali is way back, over 13 positions behind David Wank. If they finish this right now, that would mean David Wank takes home your championship this season, and Dale Somali is not looking for that to happen tonight.
And caution back out on the speedway. We're going to try to see exactly what happened there, as we will try to rewind it back and see exactly what could have happened. We're getting word that it could possibly be the 99, and looking back, it definitely is the 99 of Skip Lane, I think, who was in the 29th position. And we'll let me look back and see exactly what happened there. It looks like it all started coming out of 4 as he was being pushed by that number 14 car of Mark Montanari, and he was sitting behind the 30 machine. Coming out of 4, he got a huge tap by Mark Montanari there in the rear bumper. Just lost control, could not hold on to it. Almost held on to it, but then just shot himself up into the wall and spun himself out. He did a good job of keeping it off out of the path of the other drivers as he slid up, hit the wall, and then came down into the grass, making sure not to collect anybody else. But we are back under caution here at Talladega Super Speedway from a spin that started in the 4th turn and ended in the tri-oval. And while we're back under caution here, we want to take the time to tell you about this cool little thing that happened. Mark Montanari, the one who just ended up causing this accident, we're going to plug his thing because this is neat, guys. Do you need a crew chief? Well, here's the next best thing. Mark Montanari's Sim Racing Setup Analyzer. As you test the car, enter data into the analyzer, and it gives you real recommendations to make changes. Join the ranks of some of the fastest guys in sim racing. Get the equalizer and start turning your wrecks into wins at a click of the mouse. Sim Racing Setup Analyzer, the only crew chief you'll ever need. Find them at www.setupanalyzer.com. Still under caution here at Talladega Super Speedway. Mark Jackson is currently being shown as your leader. You have David Wank in second, his teammate. Michael Churchma in third. Eric Sharp, Bruce Arbachard. All of the main guys there, all the teammates are in your top 5 here. And so you got to wonder if anybody's going to be able to compete with the Matt.
That's definitely the question, is they've shown to be the dominant team all night long. The only one challenging them is the teammate, or well, I don't know if they're necessarily teammates, but the tango of Dallas Markle and Dale Somali but they put themselves in a very tough situation back in the pack. I mean, everybody here from now should be able to make it to the end on this tank of fuel, especially with these caution laps put in there.
It makes you wonder, David Wank is going for this championship. We cannot say that enough. And it makes you wonder if his teammates are kind of, because if you look at where David Wank is, he's sitting in second position, so he's right in the middle of the group of teammates there. So it makes you wonder if they're all doing this to kind of cushion him and keep him up there in the front to make sure that he's the one who comes out on top today with at least a championship win. So that's something to also take into effect. It could just be a huge team effort on their part to get their boy up there and get a championship.
Yeah, Bouchard is still in the running for it within this race, but where he is to where Dale Somali is, it has to be over 20 positions for that to happen, which means Dale Somali has to start having some severe bad luck in order for Bouchard to have any chance at this. But definitely David Wink in contention. He has the points lead as of right now if the race were to end, and that's definitely an interesting thing going on right now.
Also, someone who's sitting back in the 12th position right in front of Dale Smalley is Dallas Miracle in that number 48 car. He right now is right next to Bruce Arbachard in points, and he also has a chance to make something happen to get a win. So it is literally anybody's race in those top 4 positions in points right now. That's Dale Smalley, David Wank, Dallas Miracle, and Bruce Arbachard. However, it is Dale Smalley's to lose, because he is up there in front with the lead. He just needs to get up front there in the field in this race. And we'll end up seeing what happens, because we're on lap 68 right now of 101. Time is winding down. We're almost at 30 laps to go here, people.
Yeah, as we're winding down here into the final laps, you got Mark Jackson out front. He was one of the people in Storm Motorsports, along with Eric Sharp, that kind of hung back at the beginning of this race. We didn't see him up front all that much, but now they're all together with Churchma, Wink, Bouchard, all these guys that were up front. Wink did work with Nick Doucette a long time, the number 51 truck, for the first half of this race, Ted, but now we see them separated. The 51's back in the 11th position, as he chose to top off when Storm Motorsports did not, and that put him back in the field along with Dale Somali and Dallas Markle.
But guess who's right there in front of him? I mean, like you just said, Dallas Miracle is right there behind him, actually. And so to have a guy like Dallas Miracle right behind you, you can't be feeling too bad about yourself, because, I mean, that's a group right there that can easily get up there to the front, because Nicholas Doucette has had a very strong truck all night long. Someone else to look at in the 7th and 8th position is the father-son team, Gordon Berkey in the 17 and Colton Berkey in the 81. So that's another team to be looking at real quick, because they might help each other move up there to the front and get a win tonight. Colton Berkey, a few weeks back, was leading this race, was leading the race coming down to the final laps, and ran out of fuel and had to jump out of line before a wreck ensued. And he ended up losing the win because of that. And so with the talk of fuel conservation hitting us all here at Talladega, you gotta wonder if that might happen again to some of these guys.
Yeah, as it hit them last time we were here at Talladega, a little bit of the fuel strategy at the end, where we had a lap car helping somebody win the race. Ted, if you don't remember, we had, I believe it was Gary Bauer 1 lap down trying to help out Bouchard towards the win, and just didn't have enough steam to get him there. But definitely that was an interesting thing going on there, where somebody actually waited up for him to help him try and get that checker flag.
I know, someone who didn't have any stake in this race. Nothing was going to come of it. He was a lap down. I think it was like 2 laps down, 2 or 3 laps down, and he jumped in right behind him and pushed him to the front and tried to get that win for him. And so that was it's really neat to see something like that. But the lights were off on the pace cars. They head into 1, and these guys started lining up double file line. Storm Racing is, man, they're dominating up there in the front. It's going to be pretty hard to get past them, Matt.
Yeah, these open setup leagues like this allow for teams with so many people to really form a great relationship and being able to work on these trucks to get them running as fast as they can. A track like this, it's not so much how loose or tight it is, it's how much drag can you cut off those rear spoilers, how much air can you get to flow over the car instead of under it to really help you get that downforce and get it to go a lot faster.
We're getting word now that Skip Lynn and Mark Montanari will both get end-of-the-line penalties, along with Alan Larson in that 5 car will get an end-of-the-line penalty, and Donald King will also get an end-of-the-line penalty. So 4 cars, 4 drivers getting end-of-the-line penalties right there, and they'll be heading back to the end of the longest line. And I mean, at that point, we're lap 70 out of 101. You gotta be kicking yourself in the butt, saying, "Man, what did I do?" Because oh man, it's laps are winding down here, and if last race here was any indication of how great of a finish we're gonna get, then it's gonna be one hell of a ride.
Yeah, Ted, and I believe all those EOLs were for unsafely merging if you're pitting under the yellow at some time. As we can see, all those cars were already more towards the back, and that's been a more common thing here. Is the server won't do it, but these race control people, they don't like it. They say merge on the backstretch. You better emerge it on the backstretch.
Yeah, if you get told to do something by the big dogs, then you better do it, because you're really hurting yourself if you do anything else. But here we go. The pace car has dropped down onto pit lane. They head through the tri-oval, and Mark Jackson in that number 2 truck will be getting the green flag along with the rest of his teammates up there in the top 5. Green flag out on the speedway. We are back to racing here at Talladega Super Speedway. Mark Jackson getting a huge jump out front. He gets a big push by his teammate Michael Churchman, with David Wank and the number 22 of Eric Sharp jumping in line right behind them, Bouchard. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all teammates right now heading onto the backstretch.
What I noticed there, Ted, is Bouchard laid immediately off, let that gap for 2 trucks to perfectly fit in there, and they just slid right down. And like I said, single file team going to pull away and try and take this race solidly out of the hands of anybody else.
Yeah, they definitely have a plan here, and that plan is absolutely working with these teammates. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just absolutely putting the hammer down here at Talladega Super Speedway. Not a lot of things that anybody else can really do. They need to work together hard to get up there. But that's 5 very strong trucks, all with the same setup, no doubt, working their way up there. And I mean, it is just, they are absolutely dominating today at this track during the second half of this race. The only people that are right behind him that are making the move, Dallas Miracle looking back there in the 10th position, number 48, with Dale Smalling, that 69 truck. They're making their way up, slow and steady, trying to get up there. Another trucks to look at, the number 18 of Jay Anderson and the number 51 of Nicholas Doucette. They're making their way up there. But whoa, one truck falls off and falls back a bunch. That's one of the Storm drivers, Matt.
Yeah, that's Bouchard. He couldn't stay with those tangos, like I said earlier, like way earlier in this race. It's hard for that third car to stay on the tail of the tangos, so he's out there all by himself right now. He's going to have to find another partner. But the most important guy to them tonight, I believe, so far, David Wink, still up there in third and staying strong way out front of this pack, keeping himself out of the trouble.
Yeah, trying to keep himself out of the trouble, because that guy has a chance of winning the championship here tonight. especially with the likes of Dallas Miracle and Dale Smalley. Dale Smalley in particular sitting back there in the 14th position. As of right now, if this race were to end right now, David Wank would run away your champion, with Dallas Miracle sitting back there trying to get Dale Smalley up there to the front, those two working together. But dropping down in front of them is Nicholas Doucette and Jay Anderson, and that ended up splitting up Dallas Miracle and Dale Smalley as they start falling back a little much in that second pack of trucks.
And that's exactly what they need to do, is get those trucks split up as many times as they possibly can so they slow down. And that's not hard to do at a track like this. You gotta be very careful though that Smalley doesn't try to follow Miracle into a hole that he probably won't just quite fit and end up wrecking the both of them, as we've seen that happen many times at these kind of tracks.
Definitely. That's the main problem that we saw last time we were here was these guys were trying to fit into these holes, trying to make nice tight moves, and just ended up wrecking almost half the field because of that. Looking back now, Gordon Birkin, that number 17 truck in 5th place, being pushed by the 00 of James Brown. They're the ones who are right now trying to contest with the 4 teammates up there at the front, and they're doing a good job at it.
Yeah, doing a good job at it. Those 4 trucks staying right in line, not letting Gordon Berkey work that outside lane at all, as he hasn't been able to get an advantage. James Brown getting a little bit separated. 1 truck down to the inside.
Michael Churchma getting spun down and hitting the inside of the wall. That's the number 88 of Michael Churchma, as there's no caution yet out on the track. But Michael Churchma getting spun around by his teammate Mark Jackson and bringing him down into the inside retaining while they're on the backstretch. Mark Jackson still being shown out front in that number 2 car, being pushed by his teammate David Wank in the 40. We are still under green flag here at Talladega Super Speedway. Matt, huge problem now, because you had Bruce Arbachard, a teammate of theirs, falling back because he couldn't hold on to the draft. Now another teammate of theirs, Michael Churchma, not just falling back, but getting spun into the inside wall and losing track position and position significantly because of that wreck. So now you only have 2 people up there, Mark Jackson and David Wank, 2 teammates working together. And guess who's behind them and reeling them in and reeling them in fast? That's Dale Smalley and Dallas Miracle moving together. Whoa, the number 22 back there, Matt.
Yeah, Eric Sharp bump draft going wrong with Bruce Arbachard and sends him for a little bit of a ride going through 3 and 4 right there, coming towards the front stretch. But Mark Jackson, David Wank definitely in trouble, especially points trouble for Wank, as Storm Motorsports fell apart. He lost about 5 or 6 positions between him and the point leader of Dale Smalley.
Yeah, he certainly did, and that just opens it up for Dale Smalley, who, speaking of Dale Smalley, looking up there, they're moving to the high side. Him and Dallas Miracle to the high side of David Wank and Mark Jackson, and they have a huge run as they will scream past David Wank and Mark Jackson on the backstretch, and they will most likely take this lead as Dallas Miracle kind of looks to the inside saying, hey, should we jump that? Whoa! They split up. They might have to switch. They may have ran hot there, Matt.
Yeah, you see Dallas Miracle kind of went all the way down that inside line to get the draft back, not to lose too much speed, but he's caused actually more of a split here as they're going down the front stretch, getting passed by a whole freight train of trucks actually here we're racing tonight, going all the way down into 1.
Yeah, that was a big mix-up. They had a huge run on your leaders there, and that would have been the icing on the cake and the big switch-up, but he had to switch, I guess, because they were running way too hot, and they got split up, and now they fall back from being up there in 1st place all the way back to 7th place and 8th place, it looks like, as Nicholas Doucette goes ahead with Jay Anderson, his drafting partner, and gets by them. But now up front, once again, David Wank having to split up with Mark Jackson in the 2. That's going to cause a huge traffic jam as Dallas Miracle hits the wall, bounces off the wall, keeps his truck going, but they are 3 wide up front, Matt.
Yeah, trying to look 3 wide up front, but they got that sorted out. It's 00 James Brown falling back to Gordon Berkey once again. Dallas Miracle and Dale Smalley forming into the inside line halfway through the turn. But you got Mark Jackson, David Wank working their way up there, but don't look too far back. At the tail end of this lead pack, Bruce Bouchard, Eric Sharp making a charge once again for the front.
Bruce R. Bouchard in that 11 truck making his way back up there. He wants to make it a race for the win and a race for the championship. But Dale Smalley will, he is sitting in 5th place and he cannot be, or 4th place now, and he cannot be any happier with this positioning right now in this race.
Yeah, it looks like Gordon Berkey goes way to the outside wall, actually gets into the wall there, causing a lot of time for him and 00 James Brown, letting Bruce Bouchard and Eric Sharp trying to make a move on him that looked a little bit hesitant as they kind of got a little bit squirrely moving up the track.
Yeah, they did. They got a little bit sketchy there, but they jumped up to the high side and are making their move past James Brown and Gordon Berkey. Same with making a move past them is Nicholas Doucette and Jay Anderson, as they will rush past those 2 trucks as well and make their way up to the front. These switch-ups are really dropping people off. They're running their trucks very hard now with almost time running out here on the speedway. And they're running their trucks very hard, which means that they're going to be overheating a lot faster. So that's something that you have to look for now as the laps wind down. We're currently on lap 80 out of 101. That means we got 21 laps to go, boys. Now 20 laps to go here on the speedway.
Yeah, and as you were away, Ted, JD came up here. He picked that 48 car as his favorite. So old Cowboy down there helping out with Laura pushing the buttons is rooting for that Duck Dynasty 48 car to try and come away with the win tonight.
The Duck Dynasty 48 truck. That's nice. That's a cool little paint scheme that they put together. But who did you pick? Did you pick somebody?
I don't know, Ted. I don't know if I want to pick somebody because at this point I want to see David Wink go for that championship, but right now it's a little bit of a tough spot for him to try and do that.
For the championship, I want to see David Wink as well, because I always like that come-from-behind victory feel that you get when you see something like that. But as for the race, I want my boy Nicholas Doucette to get up there and win this race. I've been all over it today, knowing that he's 11 years old and seeing the kind of performance he's getting out of this truck is just absolutely fascinating to me. And so the fact that he's up there hanging with the big dogs and actually making big moves, I would love to see him win tonight, so I'm looking for that.
There's enough trucks in this lead pack. If they shuffle out Dale Smalley at the right time, David Wink does have a chance at this championship if Dale Smalley comes in at the tail end of this pack. So definitely having to have to split up that tango and try and push him towards the rear past, get Gordon Berkey by him, Jay Anderson, Nick Doucette, all have to get by that truck in order for David Wink to have the shot at the championship tonight.
Yeah, but what ended up happening right there is David Wink has fallen back and has been picked up by Nicholas Doucette there because I guess he had to switch up because he was running hot, but he ended up jumping high. David Wink still jumping up high, drops down in front of Nicholas Doucette. Dale Smalley being pegged as your leader. He's been hanging back all night tonight, back in the 20th and 10th position and as such. But now he's sitting in the first position, the position that means the most right now. But looking up top, you got your teammates 1, 2, 3, and 4 behind each other on that high side. Bruce R. Bouchard, Eric Sharp, Mark Jackson, and David Wink all trying to work together to push up there. And they were bouncing off each other in that backstretch for a while. And they'll try to make a move to take this lead away from Dale Smalley.
Yeah, trying to take the lead away from Dale Smalley with a hard push from Eric Sharp, as they are starting to work a little bit of a nose above them. Probably going to get the advantage coming down the backstretch to try and complete that pass. As Dallas Markle has been pushing for a long time, longer than I've seen anybody else pushing tonight, his truck is set to not overheat.
Yeah, he's been pushing for a while, and so it's going to make it. I mean, once Dale Smalley does have to switch up with Dallas Miracle, that's going to be the kicker right there. That's going to be interesting to see, because you have all these teammates here working together. And I have a feeling that once they have to split up, maybe on accident, we're saying accident, quote unquote, these teammates might get in the middle of that and disrupt it a little bit. I don't know, that's what I would do, but that's pretty dirty. But they move on past Dale Smalley, Dallas Miracle. They'll fall back to the 4th and 5th, or the 5th and 6th position right there as David Wink passes right on by with his teammate Mark Jackson. And once again, you got the 4 teammates up there, Bruce Bouchard, Eric Sharp, Mark Jackson, and Dave Wink all working together. But looking on back in that 7th position, moving his way up very fast on that high line, is Nicholas Doucette and Jay Anderson. They're still sticking with that top group, and that's something that I like to see, Matt.
But this is exactly what needed to happen. They're starting to try and shuffle Dale Somali back. Not quite sure why Eric Sharp-Bouchard went to the top there. They had finally got to the bottom, and to complete that pass, they kind of just let these guys cruise right on back by, as they are getting that little bit of a separation now behind that front tank.
Yeah, they certainly are, and another lap ticked down, lap 86 out of 101 here. As those two top cars, David Wink and Mark Jackson, are going to have to do the switch. They'll jump up high and fall back in line. That leaves Dale Smalley and Dallas Miracle to make a huge run on the inside, and they'll try to pick up the lead from them as everybody's shuffling to move back into position.
Yeah, it looks like Jay Anderson and Nick Doucette really don't know what line they want to be with right now, as they keep switching depending on who switched first. Right behind him, though, Gordon Berkey making a switch with James Brown. And this will probably be one of their final switches before the end of the races. They've been using this draft to keep their trucks cool.
And they've been doing a good job, and that's also, you got to look for those two trucks by the end of this race, Gordon Berkey there, because he's no spring chicken. He knows how to get around this track, and he knows how to use it well. And so it'll be interesting to see if he uses this to his advantage. Cool down the trucks, hang back in the draft, and then when 10 laps go, 5 laps to go, just hammer it down and get on up there and try to make the pass for the lead. It's gonna, with this huge group right here, because this is who you got to look at, man. With laps winding down, you got to look at these top 10 cars and just wonder to yourself, like, what's going to happen. I mean, this is very exciting racing here, and it's going to be exciting all the way to the finish. I just know it. But Dale Smalley, he's not wanting to give up that inside line, and I don't blame him. He's going for a championship right now. And whoa, the number 51 of Nicholas Doucette had to jump up high there real quick, led on by Jay Anderson in that 18. They had to switch up. That will probably be the last time they switch up tonight as well.
As the two dives to the bottom, Mark Jackson leaving David Wink out top. They're going to have to make that switch again as Somali catches up to him quick to try and take the lead back. After they finally get clear, they never can seem to make a full complete pass here before they have to switch.
Yeah, what that ends up doing is that when they disconnect like that, they lose so much ground. But here they are pounding it back up through turn 3, and they'll be trying to pass Dale Smalley and Dallas Miracle on that inside line. They have very fast trucks. The only problem is that inside line is about 6 people deep, 6 cars deep, and so I mean they're using that draft off one another to really be powerful and get up there and keep moving. And so with skills like that, it's really hard to move up there on your own. You got a fast truck, but at the end of the day, you need help when it comes down to it. And the fact that they can move up there is pretty neat. But as they head onto the backstretch right here, guess who's right there in front of them? About to go lap down is their teammate Michael Churchman, that 88 machine, but that's a teammate. And so it's going to be interesting to see what happens when he drops in the line, if he can hold on to this crowd, and if he can get up there and maybe help his boy David Wink to a championship.
Yeah, I don't see him being able to hold on to the tail end here, as this is just a bunch of tangoed up people going 201 miles an hour by the end of the straightaways. And it's just so slow out of the draft. You're barely hitting 189 sometimes. Or, excuse me, you're barely hitting 184 in these trucks out of the draft. So it's just a tough situation for Churchman. He's along for the ride for the next 11 laps.
And David Wank and Mark Jackson once again switch up drafting partners as they'll move on, and that'll obviously once again give Dale Smalley the advantage. Jay Anderson jumping down to try to squeeze in, and that leaves Nicholas Doucette up high by himself to fend for himself. Jay Anderson leaving his drafting partner, but he'll jump right back up there and get in front of him. Nicholas is probably like, "Hey man, what are you doing? You just left me out there." We're getting word right now that Skip Lynn, he was in our last accident. He was also given an end-of-the-line penalty. He has taken his truck behind the wall with mechanical issues. He will not finish this race.
Yeah, as they cross the stripe this time they'll have 11 laps to go. When they come back around, they'll take 10 to go, and that is when things are really going to start shaking up here, is how much can you switch? When do you want to switch, and when's the timing going to be right for the right person to be out front?
Yep, and I mean, oh, man, when it's crunch time, man. It's crunch time, and when it comes down to it, I mean, I know I said at the beginning of this race, when that last lap hits and you're going down the triangle towards the start-finish line, your teammates go out the window. But I don't know about this. In this case, they might, I mean, these teammates might be helping David Wank try to get that lead. But as long as Dale Smalley has that lead right there, and has that good positioning along with Dallas Miracle, then he'll be fine. But whoa, he just left Dallas Miracle there and jumped up high in front of Jay Anderson, who was making a huge run with Nicholas Doucette. He's left his drafting partner out to drive, Dallas Miracle, and Jay Anderson in that 18 will now push the 69 of Dale Smalley to the lead past David Wank on the inside. Interesting choice right there, Matt.
I'm going to say this doesn't work out for him in the long haul. He's going to get shuffled out here soon if Nick stays with that 18 car like he has been for so long. Jay Anderson, I mean, you can't just break up a relationship like that. And they're trying to 3-car tango. I see a wreck possibly happening here. But you'll see Dale Smalley go back to the inside to hook up with Dallas Miracle once again.
Yeah, Dale was definitely like, that wasn't that good of a decision. And he jumped right back down with Dallas Miracle. Makes you wonder if Dallas is like, hey, man, that kind of hurt my feelings. What are you doing, dude? Why are you doing that? But here comes some lap traffic up ahead. That will make it a little bit difficult, but they'll go to the high side and get by these guys with no problem. Jay Anderson and Nicholas Doucette really working hard that high line, trying to get past everybody as they keep on shuffling and bouncing off one another. Dale Smalley giving David Wank a little hit in the rear right there, saying, hey, buddy, I'm right behind you. There's no way you're going to get this championship away from me. But anything can happen, Matt. And at Talladega, that can't be any more true.
Exactly, anything can happen. You got 9 laps remaining on the board for right now as they're going to come and have 8 to go as when they cross the stripe. Mark Jackson is leading that tango on the low line right now with David Wank following. But Jay Anderson going to lead that lap, actually being pushed by Nick Doucette as they came across the stripe.
8 laps to go here at Talladega Super Speedway. David Wank desperately trying to find a way to get up there and get this win. He needs to get past Mark Jackson, get first place. Something interesting that we see, though, Dale Smalley is sitting back there with Dallas Miracle. He fell back a little bit, and some trucks got in front of him. Nicholas Doucette and Jay Anderson switching up there 3 wide going into turn 3 and 4 as they switched up vehicles because they started overheating. But Gordon Berkey now looking at the high side with his drafting partner James Brown as they want to try to get in the mix, and he wants to win this race.
Looking to win this race is definitely Gordon Berkey. He's had such a strong car all night, especially at these play tracks. As you said earlier, he shows the skill to win. James Brown, not always the man to be up front, but it's Talladega giving everybody the chance as long as they can get a good car here as he's trying to pick up a little bit of a podium finish tonight.
Podium finish, he would not be upset with that. But Gordon Berkey, he sits in first place right now, jumps down in front of Mark Jackson to get in front of him. Wow, that was a little bit of a cowboy move as he just absolutely leaves his drafting partner of James Brown there out in the wind for Nicholas Doucette to hook up with him, and Gordon Berkey's now sitting on the low side with no one to help him because everybody else is helping everybody else.
Dale Smalley has to help him at this point, or else he's going to get shuffled to the back of the field, like I said before. If he even got shuffled to the little bit back into that pack, it opens the door for David Wank on this championship and take home that $100 cash prize.
Look at this. Isn't this something? Gordon Berkey in that 17 machine last season was racing Dale Smalley for the championship. Those 2 drivers were the true drivers that we were looking at as we're looking at David Wank and Dale Smalley now to see who would come out on top. Those 2 were racing each other for the win. Dale Smalley obviously came out front and won the first season. But now those 2 are working together to get Dale Smalley up there to the front and try to get a championship win out of this. Right now he's doing just fine with David Wank sitting in second and Dale Smalley only sitting 2 positions behind them in 4th place. So he's looking very good right now at getting another championship and getting the 2nd win. But Gordon Berkey now gets switched to the bottom. No one to hang with as Dale Smalley and Dallas Miracle jump to the high line and will try to get past David Wank that way.
Yeah, a very odd 3 wide situation occurred there with all the switching going on. Dallas Miracle said, hey Dale, we got to go together. You ain't doing too good with Gordon there, and I want to get you this win. So definitely trying to keep that teammate up there and pull out the win. Dallas hoping it may be something that happens on the last lap like last time we were here at Talladega, and he somehow pulls out the win here tonight.
Keep this in mind, ladies and gentlemen, with 4 laps to go here at Talladega Super Speedway. David Wank currently sitting in first position. What that means is if Dale Smalley falls to the tail end of this lead pack of cars, David Wank can win the championship. All it takes is for a little hiccup as they head off into 3 and 4, but they are nut to butt right there, right next to each other, trying to get on by. And it's just a single file line on that bottom side with only Nicholas Doucette and Jay Anderson up top trying to get on by.
And Nick Doucette trying to get on by. It looks like Nick gets a little squirrely up there on the high side, again pushed by Jay Anderson trying to make that move. We are down to just 3 laps to go in this race. It looks like Nick doesn't want to be pushed by Jay Anderson anymore. We're almost going too high, trying to tell him, hey, let's go by. I'm faster pushing you.
Yeah, Nick Doucette definitely falling back a bunch right there, trying to tell Jay Anderson something as he's really getting a little sideways there, being bump drafted by him, and so that's kind of interesting. But Dallas Miracle and Dale Smalley both switching up along with David Wank. And, whoa, hey, Nicholas Doucette into the wall there, trying to hold on to his truck as they're sideways. They're wrecking. Dale Smalley and David Wank bank into each other. There's a huge wreck on the front stretch. Dale Smalley gets away with it as David Wank wrecks on the front stretch. Huge wreck, Matt.
Huge wreck indeed. Mark Jackson being shown as your leader. Mark Jackson will come around and take the checkered flag under the caution flag here at Talladega Super Speedway tonight. That makes Dale Smalley your championship winner here for the Championship Online Racing Association Season 2 for him. This is 2 championships in a row, taking home another cash prize.
Holy cow, Matt. We were talking about how this was going to be an absolutely amazing race. And let me just rewind this real quick. I got to watch it again. What an absolutely crazy finish, as it looked like Dale Smalley almost got taken out in this wreck as well. We're looking at this. They're coming down onto the front stretch. David Wank bounces off of the number 48 of Dallas Miracle, which got Wank sideways. David Wank jumps up, slams into the number 69 of Dale Smalley, and then spins out, causing a huge wreck, collecting his teammate, that 11 car. Doucette gets spun around as well, but Dale Smalley ended up holding on to that 69 machine and ended up running away with a 3rd place podium finish and an absolute win of the championship, winning the he came in 4th place, he's being shown as, but still, he has won the championship. That's 2 seasons in a row, Matt.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what Mark Jackson's doing. He's not behind the pace car at the moment with Dallas Miracle and Dale Smalley. So just trying to figure out how they're going to get lined up here for the end of the race. But a couple of those trucks, as I'm watching the replay, like Bruce R. Bouchard air, and that's a very hard hit on these guys. And luckily these guys are at home in their office chairs and not actually in those cars, so we know they're all safe here tonight.
What a great finish we were able to bring to you here on ETV Live, as that was an absolutely crazy wreck coming onto the front stretch at the white flag. There's going to be 1 lap to go here. And David Wank just got clipped by Dallas Miracle, and the rest is history. Everybody else got collected. 3 cars got away. It was almost synonymous to the Daytona wreck, or no, the Talladega wreck earlier this year in the Sprint Cup Series. So that's pretty crazy.
Just an amazing race tonight. These was such a green flag race all night long. Mark Jackson is showing the leader according to the boards up here, and Eric Sharp actually in 2nd. They're stopped here on the front stretch waiting for that pace car to catch up that they didn't quite realize where they had to stop for it, and then they'll cross the line to take the checker.
Yep, Mark Jackson is your race leader, with Eric Sharp being shown in second place and Dallas Miracle being shown in third place. Dale Smalley, though, he gets the big prize. He gets the win here at Talladega Super Speedway for the second time in a row. So he won last year. We are brand new to the Cora series here on ETV Live. We're very happy to be showing them here on ETV Live. And if you remember, if you've been following us, we watched the ending to this to the first season at the last year. That's how we introduced everybody to the Cora Championship Online Racing Association Sunday Money Series. Was with the final race at Talladega last year. Dale Smalley got away with it. However, he has once again pulled another victory out from behind and has walked away with the championship here. That's 2 in a row so far out of 2 for the Sunday Money Series. So next year they're going to have to try to knock him off his podium. But right now Dale Smalley's 2 for 2 here as we have just completed the race here at Talladega Super Speedway.
Yeah, as we just completed the race here at the Talladega Super Speedway, these guys come back around, get it lined up on the start finish line like they always do for us. Talk to your top 3 finishers and maybe get a word in with your champion, as it looks like he actually finished 3rd. So we'll be talking to him down there on pit road. Mark Jackson over in Victory Lane after he possibly burns off some of that rubber that he's got left on those tires.
We're going to be right back here at Talladega Super Speedway with your winner and podium drivers and champion right after these commercial breaks. Stay with us.
Plus other listeners where you could hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETV live sports radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks. HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com.
It's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Drivers, start your engines!
Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4, and the checkered flag, he wins his first NASCAR iRacing.
Back here after an exciting finish that came all the way down to the end after 101 grueling laps. Talladega Championship Online Racing Association season finale. Down here with Mark Jackson, number 2, pulling out the win tonight. How did you get it done?
Matt, man, oh man, I have to say that's one of the most exciting races I've ever been involved with. I worked well with my teammates. It came down to taking fuel on that last stop and hoping we could make it all the way from there. And man, I'm still shaking.
At one point, you guys had all 5 of your Storm Motorsports cars up at the front. What was that like for you guys to all be able to communicate and try and work together?
It was a lot of fun. You know, I figured it wasn't going to be that way at the end because I knew Dale and Dallas were fast and a few of the other guys behind them, and I knew they were coming. So, oh man, just what a great race from these guys. I have to give my hats off to Dale. He helped me get into this Cora Championship Series, and just very, very fun for me.
So this is the final race of this season for you guys. Are you going to think you can contend for the championship next season?
Oh, absolutely. We're going to give it a shot. I think we'll have a good chances at it. I mean, we got good equipment, and got good teammates, and that's what the goal is ultimately.
All right. Well, congratulations on your win tonight. We know you're going to have some fun with your little bit of cash prize you got. I'm going to send it right over to Ted, who's caught up with the second place finisher, Dallas Miracle.
Dallas Miracle. It almost seems like deja vu all over again, because last time we were here at Talladega, it ended with the wreck, and you were right there in the middle of it again.
Yeah, it was lining up to be a really good finish there until that little incident, but it ended up turning out all right. I got to thank Dale, my teammate there, for helping me out the whole race, and it was a good race all the way through.
Yeah, how did it feel working with your teammate there, Dale Smalley, towards the end and throughout the entire race, and seeing all of that hard work pay off with obviously you coming in second place, bringing in a podium finish, as well as seeing your teammate there, Dale, come out with the championship win?
Oh, it was a really good feeling there. We were working good together all night, and I think we had a strong chance for the win. Had it have gone green the rest of the way, and we were just working good right from the start. I think it was a good race.
And how about this Sunday Money series that Cora puts on? It's fantastic, and we obviously cannot wait until next year to be able to broadcast to everybody this fantastic racing. Are you going to be back next year, Dallas?
Oh yeah, I'll definitely be back next year, and I'm looking forward to it just as much as this season.
Awesome. We look forward to great racing as always. Dallas, do you have anybody to thank, anybody that you want to give a shout out to before we bring it on back over to Matt?
I'd just like to thank my teammate there, Dale Smalley.
Fantastic. Awesome. Thank you so much. Hey, great racing, and congratulations on getting second place there. One note that my one of my producers, JD, is telling me down here, the Cowboy Man, he loves your paint scheme, the Duck Dynasty.
Oh yeah, I'd like that one too. It was put together pretty well, I think.
Awesome. Well, congratulations, man. Congratulations on the podium finish, and we can't wait to see you next year.
Thank you.
All right, Matt. It seems that you're down there with good old boy Dale Smalley coming in third place, and it seems to me we might have a champion.
Yeah, Dale Smalley, all the hard work tonight. Sometimes you thought you weren't going to be able to work your way back up through the field, but you undoubtedly did it to come and finish out on the top 3, and not only do that, but take home your second championship here with the Championship Online Racing Association. How does that feel for you?
Oh, it feels good. Just glad to see it came out this way. Been a long season.
When you say it's been a long season, do you think there's been a lot more struggles in this season than in the past that you've had to work or overcome?
Yeah, had a couple, about 2 or 3 bad races this season, and numbers just worked out good for me.
Yeah, definitely. the Legends Week not being your strongest, but you being able to pull out the points lead coming into this final race, because Bruce wasn't even able to qualify for the main event last week. But is there anybody you got to thank that helped you get this done all season long? Of course, it wasn't just tonight to get you to where you were.
Oh yeah, definitely. Teammate Dallas Miracle, been helping with setups and everything. Drafting partner, is a great teammate, great racer. Better than me. He should have been up here if he'd hadn't had some technical issues a couple weeks.
All right, and that's our third place finisher for the night. We're going to say congratulations to Dale Somali, not only on a podium finish tonight, but his second championship here with Cora Sunday Money Series. Ted, what a fantastic race we had. Came down to the final laps. There was always a battle for the championship, it seemed like, going on, where at any second it could have been David Winks, but it wasn't able to happen for him tonight.
Yeah, just all in all, an absolutely amazing race these boys at Cora have put on for us with the Sunday Money Series, and it's just absolutely fantastic that we have been able to to see a race like this. I mean, great finish, great participation, another great season for them. Someone that we have with us right now is someone special, Everett D. Lane. He was announced at the halfway point today that he has won the 1-year iRacing subscription. His name was pulled out of the hat, and so we brought him up here to talk to him a little bit. Hey, Everett, how you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. It's a great night of Talladega racing.
It sure was. That was one hell of a race. How does it feel to go ahead and get that 1-year subscription? Winning that must feel great.
Oh, it feels really super. I want to thank Cora for everything they've done this season. I came in about mid-season and really liked what was going on in here. I want to thank Alan Larson. He's a real good guy. He's helped me out a whole lot with his stuff here, and I'm really happy to win that year's subscription, that's for sure.
Yeah, and everyone who has qualified for a race here, we're being told, within the Sunday Money Series, their name has been put into the hat. Not only has their name been put in the hat once, not twice. How many times they've qualified, no matter how many races, that's how many times their name has been put in the hat. So that's a lot of names, and the fact that yours came out, that must feel really awesome that you got it picked out.
Yeah, it's really awesome. It's funny how this worked. My wife came to me today and saying today's the 7th month of the 7th day, and it's my oldest son's anniversary, or his first year of being married, and she said, "You're going to win that thing tonight," and long and behold, I did.
That's awesome. That's a really cool story. Hey, great things happen to great people. And you said that you joined in the middle of the season, so I mean, will we see you next year here, Cora?
Oh yeah, I just joined a team, Old School Motorsports, and we're going to be a team there to reckon with before long. We are a bunch of young guys getting into this. We're having a lot of fun, and we're going to look forward to next season, that's for sure.
Awesome, man. Thank you very much for stopping by. Once again, congratulations on that 1-year subscription. That's got to help you out. Congratulations, man.
Thank you, and thank Cora. I really appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Well, Matt, we have gone through an entire season number 2 of the Sunday Money Series, ending here at Talladega Super Speedway. Once again, an absolutely amazing finish here. And is there anything you want to say before we sign off?
Yeah, just real quick, we got to thank Cora for all the help they've given us getting these shows put together. We couldn't do it without them, especially admins like Kevin McCarthy and Alan Larson helping us get us coordinated all year long, getting these prizes together for this series. Ted, these guys would never be able to get this going for them in all these weeks we spent broadcasting these races and really learning the personality of these drivers. Was just a fantastic deal.
They do. The guys at Championship Online Racing Association really just absolutely do an amazing job for everybody. If those listening at home, if you guys want to check them out, you guys want to join any of their new leagues that they have out there, check them out at www.cora-racing.com. Also, if you want to check us out at ETV, check us out at etv-eplay.net, and that's /ETV live / once again. My name's Ted Manning, along with my partner, Matt Close. We've had a great year here with the Sunday Money Series, but it's time to call the year to an end. We'll see you next year for the Sunday Money Series. We'll see you later, guys. Have a good night.